So you want to learn how to make someone want you back, do you? Well, sit back and hold on tight, because in this YouTube video, I am going to share the goods so that you can make that one special person take you back for good. Greetings and salutations, YouTube. My name, of course, is Brad Browning, your ex-back expert. I've been coaching people on how to get their exes back for over 10 years now. So if you are looking to get your ex back, then this is the only YouTube channel that you're going to need to watch to do that. All right, with introductions out of the way, how do you make someone want you back? Well, I do have dozens of videos on this topic already, but for this one, I'm going to organize my techniques into 4 simple steps. Now, these steps are only basically to get your ex to feel that initial burst of desire again. This video isn't about how to build a long and lasting relationship with them once you do get them back. For that, you'll need to watch some of my other videos. But if you're not at that stage yet, then stick around. I think you're really going to get a lot out of this particular video. Now, a lot of the advice that I'm going to give you is going to sound counterintuitive at first. And some of it may actually even just sound downright sneaky and manipulative to you. But despite your reservations, I implore you to watch this entire video all the way to the end and to hear me out, because I think by the end of it all, it's going to make a lot of sense to you. Okay, so step 1 is more so of what not to do to make someone desire you again. So let's start off quickly by listing some common mistakes that you really need to avoid at all costs. Number 1, calling and texting your ex constantly. You know, I swear that 90% of the people who email me say the same thing, that their ex dumped them, they feel like shit, and they've been constantly trying to contact their ex, begging for a second chance. Now guys, this is a massive mistake, and it's a massive mistake to even call them once. Now why is that? Well, basically displaying this sort of desperation is only going to show your ex that you're absolutely miserable and you're broken without them. And this sort of very, unattractive behavior is going to push your ex further and further away. I mean, really think about it from your perspective in the past. Have you ever been pursued desperately before? Some of you might think that this wouldn't be such a bad thing, but if you ever have actually been completely and totally obsessed over by someone, it can actually be a real turn off. So before you do pick up that iPhone to message your ex, just take a second and at the very least keep watching the rest of this video. But now I do realize at this point you're thinking, well, how the heck am I supposed to get someone to want me back if I don't talk to them? Well, I am going to get to that a little bit later in this video, but for now, just put the text messaging and the calls on hold completely. Now, mistake number 2 is using hysterics, pity, and begging your ex to try and convince them to come back. Now, remember, guys, you're never going to convince your ex to take you back using logic. Love and emotion, they always trump any sort of logic when it comes to romantic relationships. So at least keep that in mind moving forward. Nobody is going to take you back out of pity. And if they do, that relationship is going to be doomed to fail. So instead, what you need to do is follow the advice I outline in this video. And if you do it properly, it's going to work. So more on this in a little bit. And mistake number 3 is always saying yes to your ex. Now, this mistake is, again, I realize, kind of counterintuitive. At this point, I bet that if your ex asked you for a favor, you'd do basically whatever it takes to perform that errand for them, wouldn't you? And I'm also guessing that you'd sacrifice just pretty much anything to even have the chance to do it, right? Well, this may sound like it would work, but I promise you it doesn't. Being your ex's doormat is ridiculously unattractive, and it's only going to make him or her respect you even less. So if you really want someone to desire you again, then they have to respect you. And of course, that does bring me to mistake number 4, which is getting hysterical if you find out your ex is dating somebody new. Now, I know this may be one of the most painful situations that you'll go through in life, but it really isn't as awful as you think it is. If your ex is in a rebound relationship with another person directly after your breakup, like I said, that is usually called a rebound relationship. And typically, these rebound relationships, they don't last. So what you really need to do at this point is simply weather the storm and wait for the perfect opportunity to get your ex back. And mistake number 5 is showering your ex with gifts and affection. Now again, this is another counterintuitive mistake. And like the last few I just talked about, showing your ex that you put him or her on the metaphorical pedestal is massively unattractive. So don't buy your ex gifts, don't make them presents, don't call them and compliment them. Just no, none of that stuff is something you want to do right now. Right, and mistake number 6, desperation isn't the only emotion people feel when they've been rejected. Sometimes they actually just feel rage. So mistake number 6 is lashing out at your ex. Now this is where you could do some permanent damage to your relationship with your ex. So steer clear of any sort of name calling and hysterical yelling. Again, you're never going to logic your way back into someone's heart, especially if you're screaming at the top of your lungs. So basically doing so is only going to reaffirm your ex's decision to steer clear of you, and you could very well ruin your chances of ever building a healthy relationship with that person ever again in the future. Now, mistake number 7 is obsessing and overanalyzing the situation with your ex. Now, I know, guys, this one is a lot easier said than done. All you probably want to do right now is just read old text messages and old letters, trying to figure out where you went wrong and how you can fix it. Please just stop doing this kind of stuff for now. Doing this sort of thing is only going to put your ex further on that metaphorical pedestal in your own mind, and I can guarantee you that you really won't find any answers doing this kind of thing. What's done is done, and you basically just need to move on with a proper course of action moving forward. Now, of course, those mistakes are just some of the dozens of brutal ones that people commit very often when they're trying to get someone to want them back. Now, if you do want the full scoop, you want to hear more, just head over to breakupbrad.com and watch the free video presentation on that very topic that I've got up on my website at breakupbrad.com. Okay, so on to step 2. Give your ex some room to breathe and stop contacting them. Now, guys, this step is especially crucial if you want that special person to want you back again. So what does no contact mean? Well, it's pretty self-explanatory. It means absolutely no communication with your ex whatsoever. No texting, no drunk dialing, no social media interactions, no liking their posts on Instagram, no Snapchatting, nothing. And especially, this is really important, you don't want to accidentally, but not so accidentally, run into your ex in public. By doing that, you're going to give him or her the utter creeps, and they're just going to be running for the hills. And absolutely, do not ask mutual friends about your ex either at this point. Because if your ex does get wind that you're trying to pry into his or her private life after the breakup, you're just going to turn them off completely. So now, guys, I know what you're thinking right now. Why would this work? Why would not contacting your ex convince them to take you back? Maybe, all the movies you've ever seen show men and women performing insane, over-the-top gestures of love, and it works. They get back together. Well, these movies, quite frankly, are just complete hogwash. Your ex really needs time away from you so that they can revert back to what I call emotional neutral. See, guys, right after the breakup, you and your ex are both feeling a flurry of negative emotions. Sadness, depression, anxiousness, anger, frustration. And when someone's feeling all of those negative emotions, it's going to be almost impossible for them to turn things around, for you to make them want you back again overnight. Instead, really, they need time to recover from the whole ordeal and to return to an emotional state that's stable, or as I like to call it, emotional neutral. And it is at this emotional neutral point where they're going to be a lot more receptive to your later attempts to make them want you again. And of course, not only do they need time apart from you, but really you also need time apart from them as well. Because quite frankly, right now you're probably feeling sad, lonely, angry, rejected, and maybe all you want to do is have a few shots of whiskey and call your ex up out of the blue. Again, that is exactly what not to do. In order for your ex to want you again, to the point where he or she feels they have to take you back, then you just need to be the absolute best version of yourself. You need to be happy, positive, and you need to be living your best life. Because quite frankly, your ex is just not going to settle for anything less. Now, guys, you're also going to be able to use this time to improve yourself in ways that you couldn't before. Free time isn't such a bad thing. Now, I know, the feeling of loneliness can be a real bitch, but really only if you let it. So now is the time to fill that vacant time with hobbies, passions, and things that make you happy generally. Maybe you've always wanted to go to the gym more often. Well, now you can. Maybe you've always wanted to take up painting as a hobby. Again, now you can. So, moving on, how long should this period of no contact be? Well, typically speaking, it takes about 30 days for someone to return back to what I call emotional neutral. But that does depend on a variety of factors. For example, if your relationship ended on extremely poor terms, it might even take several months for your ex to return back to that emotional neutral state. But in most cases, for most people out there, 30 days is about right. Now, if you are unsure as to how long you should wait in your situation, then I encourage you to check out my personal coaching program. To learn how you can hire me as your breakup coach, just head over to breakupbrad.com/coaching. And once you go to that page, you're going to see exactly how the email coaching program works and how many spots I currently have available. So, moving on, are there any exceptions to this no contact period? That is a question that I get all the time. And for the most part, really, there are very, very few exceptions. If it's their birthday or a very special occasion, then a quick one-line text message is permitted, but it wouldn't be such a bad thing to even just completely skip that for now. In fact, even if your ex does reach out and texts you during this period of no contact, it's often usually best just to avoid them completely for now. Now, sometimes doing that is going to frustrate your ex to the point that they're going to begin to want you back just based on your indifferent attitude. But if they really do begin pestering you like mad, then you can just reply to them in a few days after you receive their message with something really simple like, hey, sorry, I've been really busy lately. And that's it, nothing more. Now, of course, there are a few other exceptions, like if you live with your ex or you have children together with them. So if contact is absolutely necessary, then obviously, you are going to have to engage with your ex to some extent. But if you are in that situation, do make sure your interactions are cordial and minimal, and really avoid getting sucked into long emotional conversations, because those are really going to end poorly most of the time. And if you are living with your ex right now during the no contact phase, try to arrange to move out from their place as quickly as possible, or get them to move out if you can, in order to fully apply this strategy. Whew, okay, this video is getting super long, so I'm just going to try to move it along here, and let's skip on to step number 3, which is to become the very best possible version of yourself. Now, once again, you need to use this time apart from your ex to better yourself and your life. Now, remember, your ex will never take you back if you're feeling sorry for yourself. However, your ex will want to take you back if they see you living your absolute best life and looking good while doing so. So my biggest tip for this section is concentrate on your appearance. I mean, I'd be lying if I said that improving your physical appearance won't improve your chances of actually getting your ex back. So, feel free to go out there, get a fresh haircut, go to the dentist, stop eating junk food every day, go to the gym instead every day, or, even at least go on a shopping spree for new clothes. Now, to be perfectly honest, these are things that you should be doing on a regular basis anyways, but you've really got absolutely nothing to lose here by doing it during the no contact phase. Now, on top of looking good, there's a ton of other ways to improve yourself mentally as well. So, go out with friends and enjoy being social again. It's going to make you feel great to be distracted, and you might even, meet some cool people along the way as well. And along those lines, feel free to start dating again. Now, I know you probably don't want to, and you'll feel like you're perhaps, cheating on your ex in a way, but put those feelings on the back burner and just make sure you give dating a shot as soon as you can. If anything, at the very least, it's at least a great distraction, and it may be a great way to help rebuild any confidence that you may have lost from the breakup. And finally, guys, you're also going to want to take this time to not focus on your ex at all. So that really means you just basically need to remove any reminders that you have of your ex lying around the house, or at least as many as possible. So remove all those photos you have of him or her, put them in a private folder on your phone, move all their gifts that they gave you into a shoebox, store it in your attic. Basically, just do whatever you need to do so that you stop thinking about your ex 24/7. Now, this is going to be extremely hard to do in the first few days or weeks even after the breakup, but don't stress because every day that passes does make things easier and easier, and you can just trust me on that one. Things will get better. Now, of course, a huge goal of step 3 in this video here is to become an attractive person, period. Now, that means attractive not even just to your ex, but to every person of the opposite sex. I can guarantee you that one of the reasons why your ex broke up with you was because you stopped exhibiting some characteristics that your ex found attractive in the past. So really what you need to do is become you 2.0 and bring those things back. All right, and here we go on to step number 4, which is to contact your ex at the right time and hang out with them. Okay, so where are we now? Well, basically we're at the point where you've become the best version of yourself. You're engaging in no contact, but you're also using that time, wisely to improve your life, to meet new people, and to spend time with your friends. And of course, all the while, your ex is living their life, and they're slowly returning back to that emotional neutral state. So at this point, now what? How do we make them want you again? Well, if you've just finished the no contact period, now is the time to reach out to them. And there's really several ways to do this, but the very best way, in my experience, is through text messaging. Now, I have made dozens of videos on this topic already, so feel free to poke around my channel and watch some of those other videos after this one. But simply put, you need to send your ex a quick text just to break the ice. Now, put your phone down because it can't be something like, hey or what's up. You really have to send something that actually makes your ex want to respond to you. So let's just jump into a quick example here. You could say something like, hey, long time no chat. Just wondering about something. I'm buying a guitar tomorrow, and I know you know a lot about that kind of stuff. Could you help me out? Or you could, send a text along the lines of, hey, hope you're doing well. I'm thinking about booking a trip to Japan next month, and I know you were just there last year. Do you think you could help me out with the planning? And really, that's all there is to it. You just need to craft a message that A, is simple and easygoing, and B, has a real purpose. What we need to do right now, basically, is just make it seem like the only reason that you're texting your ex is because you need something from them and nothing more. And if you have been playing your cards correctly up to this point, your ex should at least be receptive to messaging you back. And from there, you're going to have to set up an in-person meeting. Now, to do this, use that original text message as a means to set up that meeting. So, for example, if they reply to the first example text message I just mentioned that you could send them, you could say something like, oh, cool, yeah, I've heard about those Taylor guitars. Any chance I could buy you a quick coffee so I can pick your brain and make sure I get the right one? Or you could say in response, nice, I've heard great things about Osaka as well. Do you mind if I buy you lunch tomorrow so I can pick your brain? It would be great to catch up anyways. And of course, guys, once you do arrange this meetup with your ex and you see them in person, that's when the magic really happens. And this is how you're really going to get your ex to want you back. Now, you can't forget everything I've just talked about in the steps 1 to 3 that I've already covered in this video. So when you do meet up with your ex, make sure you're exhibiting all of the positive behaviors that I've already outlined in this video. That means you're going to have to remain upbeat, happy, and generally positive. And of course, this meeting is also a great time to show off, your new haircut, your style, and maybe your new and improved, hot bod as well. But the real key to making your ex want you back again is to flirt. Now, I'm not going to go into great detail here about how to flirt. There's plenty of videos that I've already made that cover that exact topic in a lot more depth. But basically what I usually tell my clients is to treat your first meetup with your ex as if you're going on a first date. So that means you're going to be outgoing, charismatic, and fun to be around. You're going to want to make good eye contact. You're going to smile and laugh at their jokes. And you're going to want to touch your ex when appropriate. Now, doing this kind of flirting alone will make your ex want you back. But there are a few more tactics that are also, proven to work extremely well. And one of them is something that I call the sensual reminder tactic. So here's basically how it works. During the coffee or lunch date that you set up with your ex, you could allude to sort of a steamy time that you shared together. You don't want to make it too obvious, but for example, you could just say something like, hey, that reminds me of that camping trip we took where we stayed in that cabin. Man, those were some fun nights, huh? And then you could just, sort of give your ex a little flirty wink or smirk. And of course, like I said, obviously when you do this, you really do need to be subtle and to say this in a joking way. You ultimately just want to make your ex smile and later hopefully fantasize about, how steamy those nights really were and how much fun they had with you. And once your ex, sees how vibrant, attractive, and fun you are, they're only going to want you more and more. And if you have really put an effort into becoming the absolute best version of yourself, it is only going to be a matter of time before they're back in your arms for good. Whew, I know this video was a very long one, guys, but honestly, quite frankly, I haven't even scratched the surface of how to make someone truly want you back. I've pretty much only covered the basics of how you'll get your foot in the door here in this video. So if you do want to learn my entire system, then you're going to have to head over to breakupbrad.com and watch the full free video that I've got up on there on my website. Again, that's breakupbrad.com. And as always, YouTubers, be sure to ask me any questions you have in the comment section below and smash that like button on the way out as well. It really helps me stay motivated to produce more videos just like this one. All right, I think we'll leave it there. I'm going to go grab a glass of water now. So thank you very much for watching, and we'll talk to you guys later.